In today's highly requested tutorial, we'll give you 3 tips on how to take better images in low light. Let's get started.
Rachel, I'm so happy to be standing here with you today, surrounded by all of our friends.
Daniel, we've been together for 8 years, through 7 different apartments and 4 different websites, all of which were hosted by Squarespace's easy-to-use all-in-one platform.
You're so beautiful, inside and out, just like Squarespace's designer templates.
You've always been there for me, day and night, just like Squarespace's award-winning 24/7 customer support.
I'm so glad I made my next move with Squarespace, and you. I love you both so much.
We're shooting in the Chinatown neighborhood of LA because there's a lot of really nice ambient light and an array of unique vignettes. Ideally, we want lights behind our model to help him pop, and light that will also illuminate him from the front. Try positioning a street light behind your model's head to provide hair light and help your camera autofocus better. If you find a great background but don't have enough light to fill your subject from the front, you can actually pick up colored cellophane from your local art supply store for a couple bucks and cover your phone's flashlight for an affordable fill. We tried this with a small aperture Amaran light that you can pick up for about 45 bucks. We also have this LED pixel stick that allows us to change the colors of the lights, and it provided some really great light for our model.
A good rule of thumb for shooting handheld is that your shutter speed should be equivalent to or faster than your focal length. For instance, if we're shooting with an 85mm lens, we want to make sure our shutter speed is at least 1/85th of a second. If you have a crop sensor camera, use a 35mm equivalent focal length when figuring out your minimum shutter speed. Keep in mind you'll want your subject to hold as still as possible, and you'll want to hold the camera as still as possible as well when you shoot. Using a slower shutter will let in more light and allow us to keep our ISO as low as possible so we don't introduce unnecessary noise. On a similar note, this is where fast lenses are super helpful. So for instance, our 35mm lens has an aperture of f1.4, which means its maximum aperture size is greater than our 16 to 35mm lens, which has a maximum aperture of f2.8. Shooting at 1.4 will be 2 stops brighter than shooting at 2.8.
When shooting, we always use our camera's autofocus system, but sometimes it struggles in low light. If you have the same issue, try shining a flashlight on your subject with one hand while autofocusing with the other. Then, shut off your light and fire away. We use rear button focusing to lock our autofocus. You can check out our video on that in the description below.
Editing low light photos generally takes a little extra time to get just right. First, make sure your highlights are lifted enough to where your subject's face is brighter without losing too much detail. Also, if your lens vignettes a lot, don't forget to turn on profile corrections because a lot of times this can help brighten up your images. If the darker areas of your images are getting noisy, try using a graduated filter with the noise parameter cranked up. You can even turn down the clarity slider a bit to smooth things out. I like doing it this way instead of applying it to the entire image because it won't make our subject look too soft and mushy. You can also play around with the luminance. This will depend on the colors in your image, but here, I can use a target adjustment circle and bring the luminance up to brighten his face and similar hues in the background.
Thank you guys for watching. We hope you learned something new. And special thanks to our model, Eduardo, who is not a professional, but killed it anyways. Show him some love by checking out his Instagram in the description below. We'll see you guys next time.
I couldn't decide between waving and peace signing.